Hey friends, and welcome to the Happy Hour with Jamie Ivey podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, and I'm super excited that you are here. Welcome to December. We made it. Every week on this show, the Happy Hour, I invite a girlfriend to join me, and we chat about the big things in life, the little things in life, and everything in between. Before we get to my guest, I want to tell you about a book that's being re-released. It's called Out of the Spin Cycle, and it's Devotions to Lighten Your Mother Load by Jen Hatmaker. I read this book when it first came out several years ago, and I loved it. Now, Revell has reissued this book this fall with a brand new cover. It's so perfect to give as a gift to another mom friend to encourage them. It's the terrific stocking stuffer for your sister who has so many kids. And of course, it's perfect as one of those books that you buy for yourself, you put on your nightstand, and you take a few minutes to read before bed. The chapters are short, but they're full of Jen's humor that we all love, as well as great encouragement and challenges for mom based on scripture. Following Jesus shouldn't just be one more thing on our to-do list. Jen helps us understand through 40 devotions that creating space and time for focusing on our relationship with God is as important as making sure our kids eat breakfast or we get them to school on time. Guys, being a mom is hard. Spending time with Jesus can be hard for us sometimes. Get this book as a way to help you with both of those things. You can find this book online at Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. Guys, today you're listening to episode number 118, and my guest is Emily Lay. Emily is the founder and creative director of Emily Lay Paper and Gifts. She recently released her very first book called Grace Not Perfection in October. She's a wife and she's mom to 3 kids. Today on the show, we discuss what it looks like to take a risk in running a business and in life. She shares how her business was slow to grow and how early on they developed some goals and guidelines that they were going to commit to stick to. Even when the business was booming, no matter what, they were going to stick to what they had already decided the business was going to look like. She shares a moment when she thought she just might quit. Plus, we discuss the perfect grilled cheese. If you want to send us a message about anything from the show, we'd love to hear from you. I'm at Jamie Ivey on Twitter, and Emily is at Emily Lay. I love hearing from listeners so much. Recently, Rebecca Jocelyn said, when you have a new Happy Hour podcast waiting for you during a tough day at work, thank God for you, Jamie Ivey. Rebecca, I'm so glad that you could have that podcast when you had a hard day. And then Jill Shea said, Jamie, almost done listening to your chat with Becky Kaiser, which was last week, sweating hard and getting through my workout. Thank you, ladies. I do listen to podcasts when I go on walks as well. I even tweeted Jill back and told her that today I was listening to a podcast called Smartest Person in the Room by Laura Tremaine. So check that out if you haven't. Guys, I loved seeing over the past week how you guys were sharing the happy hour with a friend. And I want you to continue to do that. All month of December, I'm giving away goodies. I might even have some goodies that aren't necessarily happy hour goodies. They're just things I have at my house that I want to give you. It's super easy to possibly win this. First of all, you just need to tell a friend about a show, which I know you guys share this show already, because we are getting so many new listeners every single week that are sending us messages on email, Facebook, Instagram, and they're saying, a friend told me about it, and I've never listened to a podcast before, and yours was the first one. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I always say I wish that I could hug every single one of you and tell you thank you. Last month in November, we had our highest month of downloads ever. We had over 500,000 downloads. And guys, I tell you that to tell you thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys that are listening are the reason for this show. So thank you. I could just hug you through this microphone right now. So I want you to keep sharing, and I want you to show me when you share over Instagram, okay? Tell a friend. Show them how to listen to a podcast on their phone, and then somehow take a picture of you documenting that. Take a picture of you and your friend. Take a picture of you at the grocery store. Take a picture of whatever you want and tell me that you just told a friend about the show. And then I want you to use the hashtag sharing the happy hour. And you can tag me too so I can see it for sure. I'm at Jamie Ivey on Instagram. So keep doing that. I'll keep picking winners all through the month of December, and I'll send you some goodies. Okay, guys, here is my conversation with Emily.
Hey there.
Hi, Emily.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm good. I have a screaming toddler leaving the building at the minute, but she's man, it's always something.
I hear ya. Well, I have a crying dog, so I don't.
I mean,
yeah, I'd rather have a crying dog than a screaming toddler, but there's that.
Toddlerhood is really interesting when there's 2 of them.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yes, my kids have been, I have 4 kids, and some of my kids have been asking for a baby, which is, it's medically impossible. It's emotionally impossible, spiritually.
Exactly.
I shouldn't say spiritually, but you know what I mean?
Things.
Everything's closed. Everything's done. And then yesterday my son was like, well, what if we just got like a toddler? And I was like, what?
That's even worse.
I know, right? Babies just lay there. Why do you want a screaming toddler? So
that is so funny.
Kind of funny.
Wow.
Kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the happy hour.
Thank you for having me.
Yay.
I'm so excited.
Yay. Okay, we're just going to jump in if that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's dive right in.
Okay, so I'm really looking forward to talking to you for a number of reasons, but one of them is that one of my dear friends, Kim Ellis, is a huge, I guess I can use the word fan if that's okay. It's a weird word
I know, right?
in our world. You know what I mean? But
yes, totally.
She just loves your work. She loves you. She was reading your book when we were on the beach together. I mean, she just is a fan. And so I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to talk to this person that you love. So,
give her a hug for me.
From
Thank you.
my friend Kim, thank you for coming on the happy hour as well.
Hi, Kim. Thank you.
Kim is the best. And she is, okay, so here's why I think she also is like, really is feeling a connection to you, because she is a young mom who has 3 young kids, all under the age of 4. And in the past 2 years, she started a business.
Oh my goodness.
So this is like your life, you know?
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Okay. Well, I want to talk to you about that because I have a lot of young mamas that listen, and a lot of them are doing just phenomenal businesses like this as well. But first, just introduce yourself for anyone that's listening that doesn't know who Emily is.
Absolutely. Well, I am a wife of 8 years and a mom to 3 kids under the age of 6, which is exciting.
Exactly.
and wonderful all at the same time in all the ways. My oldest, Brady, is 5.5, and actually he's almost 6 now.
Aww.
And my twins, Tyler and Caroline, are going to be 2 in January. So it's a full house. About 8 years ago, before my first son was born, I started a graphic design company doing anything I could get my hands on, from wedding invitations to stationery. And I sold them all on Etsy, and I saved up all my $5 sales and eventually built the company that we have now. So I'm the creator of the Simplified Planner, and it's sold all over the world to tens of thousands of women every year. And I'm also a new author of the book, Grace Not Perfection.
Yes, that's what my friend Kim was reading on the beach, which it's a beautiful book.
Thank you so much.
Which
Thank you.
I think that graphic designers can do nothing less than a beautiful book. Like, you're like, you come to the table with a lot of like, this has to look good, people. Okay. This has my name on it.
That part of the process was actually really funny, because it was scary, like turning over the visual part of it, because I've always been so in control of that with our own brand.
Oh yeah.
And it was funny that when they first sent me the cover, I was like, no, this isn't it. No, I don't think this is right. And they were like, no, like, trust us. You just have to see it in person. And then it started to grow on me, and I was like, okay, maybe. And then we put the calligraphy on it. At first it was just the pink and gold. Mm-hmm. And then we put the calligraphy on it, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. And when I held that thing in person, I just sobbed. I just cried. And like, I was so happy with it and so proud. And like, turning over the reins was scary, but man, they nailed it. It just turned out so good.
That is so amazing, because I know that everyone, like, I'm in the process, I'm behind you. I'm in the process of writing. I have a book due in a couple of months. So, but I love talking to people who have like just finished their first book, and I love hearing which part of the process was hard. So tell me, you just said like releasing that control over the design was hard. Was that the hardest part?
No. Well, the entire thing was like a totally new adventure to me, because I've never done it before, but my bachelor's degree is in English writing. So I've been a writer my whole life. I've just never put in anything into a book form. Mm-hmm. And when we decided I was gonna write the book, I had 8 weeks to do it. Which,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, like it's absolutely insane.
That's insane.
And I'm actually, like, hugs to you, new writer, because I am writing book 2 now. And I have 8 weeks to do it again. So that part was the hardest. It was that I had to get really, really focused really fast and find time amongst my crazy life with the planners and my business. I have 7 remote employees, and I have, these 3 amazing children who my twins were not yet 1 at the time. So finding the time, like, in my head at first I was like, okay, I'm just going to write in the middle of the day. Like, when I have my working hours, I'll write. And that just didn't work.
So when did you write?
So every night for 8 weeks, like weekends and everything, every night I went to the Starbucks up the street, and those people became my very close friends. And I actually mentioned them in the very end of the book, because they reserved a little booth for me in the corner, and they always had my coffee waiting for me. I'm not sure I ever paid for coffee. They just always gave. It was so sweet.
Oh, that's the best.
I know. And I just went there every night after bedtime, put the kids down, went to Starbucks, and I wrote for 3 hours every night until 10 o'clock when they closed. They did kick me out most nights.
Yeah.
And that's how I got it done. And looking back, like, I'm pretty grateful that I had that hard deadline to work towards, because I think I would have probably overanalyzed and just, took my time, and it might have become a longer drawn out thing. But I was really forced to sit down and get really real with myself about what my mission with the book was, and what stories I wanted to tell, and what I wanted to leave our readers with. So it was really hard, but it worked out.
And a supportive husband. Like, I always feel like, writing a book and having these other roles, like for you, you're running a business. You also have people that depend on you at your home. You have children and a husband. Like, it's almost a team effort.
Oh, completely.
For you to be able to leave every single night. I mean, that's a lot.
Right. I would drown without them.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. That's how I feel as well. My husband and I right now are both in the process of writing books, which is hard. So he's under like a really hard deadline like you are. Like, I think he has like 3 weeks left. So literally for the past 3 weeks, he leaves on Sunday and comes back on Thursday, because for him, he has to get away and spend like 12, 13 hours writing. Yeah. That makes my brain want to explode. Like,
mine too.
Like, I can't even, like, when I get close to my deadline, I think I'll get away, but I can't write for that long.
I did that one.
Like, that just hurts my brain. So I'm like you. I don't know if it's a thing, but like probably like 4 times a week, I'll spend like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going at right now. And I have 13 weeks left. So.
Wow. We're good for you.
We're pushing it.
Hey, that's wonderful. I'm excited to read your book.
Well, I think at the end of this, I'll say this might be the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Is putting, like, it's like just sitting down. Yeah, just sitting down and like letting all your emotions pour out and all kinds of things. So it's crazy.
Oh, I always say that I took myself to church in writing the book. I mean, it was like therapy and church, and like a lot of tears were cried writing all of those words. And I think a lot of healing for me happened through a lot of just hard stuff, and but a lot of great things.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so proud of it. And it's just still so surreal that it's like in people's hands.
I can't even imagine. I'm like sitting on the like other side where I'm still like a year out from that. I can't even imagine what that possibly feels like to actually see something that you wrote. It's just really, really crazy. I was writing the other day, and it was like, I was writing something that was in my past and pretty emotional. And I got done, and I felt like I had just kind of walked through some emotional stuff. And I was like, you know what? I have to make a grilled cheese. Like, this is, I like this emotional eating for like writing.
That's amazing. Oh, what a reward. A grilled cheese is
I was
a
like,
great
I need a grilled cheese, because this was hard work.
That is fantastic. This is completely off topic, but I feel like anytime someone mentions grilled cheese, I have to say this. I heard the other day that if you put a little bit of oil in the pan before you put the butter on the bread and put it down, that it helps it cook better and not burn.
We are some grilled cheese loving people in the Ivey house. So
that's great.
I know. And all my kids know how to make all these things. So this is what you have to look forward to, Emily. Yes. You have to look forward to this in just a few years. This will be your life too.
That's great.
Do you put anything else on a grilled cheese, like bacon, tomato, lettuce, or just cheese and bread?
So I married a man who is my total opposite in very many ways. And he is like anti anything but the basics. Okay. When it comes to those things. So with the grilled cheese, he's like, we need butter, bread, and cheese. And that's all. No, I would love like tomato or a fancy cheese. And he's like, give me the Kraft singles, please.
That's hilarious.
Nope. Basically, grilled cheese at our house.
Grilled cheese, I think it's this underrated food where people think it's like a kid's dish. But you can go to some nice restaurants, and if they have grilled cheese on the menu, that's where you need to get it, because it's going to be phenomenal.
I totally agree. Now I want grilled cheese.
I know, right? We're all going to have grilled cheese for lunch today. One of our supper clubs, one time they did tomato soup and grilled cheese, which is like the perfect meal, and it was so phenomenal.
Oh, that's like my childhood right there.
Right? I know, and it's getting colder, maybe where people are,
I wish it was here. It's 85 here in
Are
South
you in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get cold at all?
We do. I mean, it gets chilly, but never to the point of actually needing a jacket.
Okay,
put it that way.
That's nice because I hate jackets. So, like,
Right.
I'm in Austin, and so it gets a little chilly, but we're good here.
Right.
We're good
there
here.
You go.
Okay, so your book is beautiful. I love it. But let's go. Take me back to like 2008 when are you married then?
I was newly married.
Newly married. I read that you were like a executive director of a ballet, which I think
was.
Did you ever do dance, or you just got a job working there?
I did. No, I was a dancer for years.
Look
and
at you.
I got a master's degree in nonprofit management, and I lived in the small but wonderful town of Pensacola, Florida.
Yes.
And was looking for my big girl job. And I applied for the position of executive director of Ballet Pensacola, which, looking back, I was 23. So this is pre-2008. I was 23 at the time. And
you already had your master's?
I did, yeah.
You were busting out the school, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and I just decided, like, I'm just going to go for it, and they'll probably tell me no, I'm too young, and whatever. And I interviewed, and they were like, we love you. We want, like, someone that's new and young and just really energetic about things to come in and revitalize this. And so I did, and I was there for a little while, and I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. It was so hard at the age of 23 to learn how to work with the board of directors and represent the ballet at, in a Rotary Club where I was the only woman, all kinds of things. It was hard, but I learned how to do it. And I think it was an incredible experience. I left there and I moved to, I worked for a hospice in Pensacola later doing fundraising for them, and then moved to Pensacola and worked at the University of South Florida's Women in Leadership and Philanthropy program.
Okay.
And it's a mouthful, but I was there, and I had just moved to Tampa, and I was just feeling very out of place. And I was kind of in this season of life where it was like, let's decide what you want your life to look like. Now's the time. You don't have kids yet. We got married in 2008. And I said, you know what? When I have children, I want to have flexibility like my mom had with us. And my mom, she was a teacher. She taught elementary school for almost 40 years. And I knew I didn't want to be a teacher. I was not born with the thing that you need to be a teacher, but right. I wanted something that was flexible and made me feel like I was really contributing the way that the women in the program I ran were contributing to the community. And so I started teaching myself graphic design, watching YouTube videos, really just Googling all the questions, like how to do things. I did wedding invitations in the beginning, and I did them on a Microsoft Publisher on a PC, which is like makes people itch if they're graphic
hilarious,
design.
Right?
Yeah. And so I remember learning, Adobe Illustrator, that's what I need to be using. And so I taught myself how to do that. And we decided in the beginning that it was just going to be a side project. Like,
so you were still running the philanthropy job?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working there more than full time. And I would stay up to the wee hours of the morning every single night, and I would just try to get this thing off the ground. And this was back when Etsy was brand new, Twitter was the thing, like there was no Instagram. This whole maker culture did not exist. So it was like a very novel idea that someone would create their own company. I had a friend who was a photographer, and I saw what she was doing, and I was like, I could maybe do something like that. So yeah. My husband has been involved since the beginning, but he has his own job. And we decided together that we were going to run a debt-free company, and that would take a lot of the risk off of our family and just make it something that was really fun. And so it grew really slowly in the beginning, but little by little, it got bigger and bigger until in 2010, I was able to leave and pursue it full time. And 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Surprise. Actually, it wasn't a surprise. We had been trying for a long time, and we went through a lot of infertility stuff. And I found out I was pregnant, and I had already left, or I was leaving, I think, my full-time job, and started to pursue it full-time. So I dove headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship and motherhood at the same time.
Those are like two of the biggest ventures you can take on in your lifetime, and you stepped in at the same time.
It really was.
So tell me about when you first started, like running your own company is just a mouthful as it is. And you're learning and you're teaching yourself all of these things. Was there ever a time when you thought, I don't think that this is worth it. I'm just going to go back to working at the university?
Yes. Not in the beginning. In the beginning, I think I was just bright-eyed and
Let's do
had all the
this.
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. There wasn't a lot of risk because we weren't taking a lot of risk.
Okay.
We were running it debt-free. We were taking, every $5 sale I made on Etsy, I would put my $5 together until I could afford, a website or afford product, whatever. And that moment came in 2000, I guess it was 2011 or 12. No, I guess it was 2011. We sent our first production run to one of our manufacturers. Well, it was our first manufacturer at the time. And it was $6,000. And $6,000 was like $600,000.
Did you have $6,000 saved up from $5 sales at this time?
Yeah. It was saved up from, I was doing a lot of different things then. I was doing branding work. I was doing anything I could get my hands on to make money.
So you're still debt free though? You're not putting this on credit? Yep. Okay.
Right. Good. No, never on credit. Never. We actually got 3 rounds into Shark Tank and decided not to do that either.
Are you serious? That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. We were excited about it at first because we've always had cash flow issues because of our debt freeness.
Right.
But we just decided we didn't want to give up any equity. So we didn't do it. But no, the $6,000, I paid it to the manufacturer. I was brand new in production. I didn't know all the things that I know like the back of my hand now. And I got the first order. It was delivered to our house. We were shipping from my home at that time. And the pallet was delivered. We pushed it up the driveway into the garage. And I remember taking a box cutter and opening the first box, just so excited. And I wasn't scared. I get terrified now every time I see our production run, even now, every time I see our first run. But at the time, I was just so excited. And I opened the box and I pulled out the first pieces and they were all wrong. Every single one. Wrong to the point of unsellable. So,
because of you or because of them?
Oh, no, because of me.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that I should do pre-press sampling until it was absolutely perfect. I didn't know about Pantone matching. I didn't know about all the things I know now. And
$6,000 worth.
Yeah. And like I've never not paid myself. Well, in the beginning, I didn't pay myself for 2 years. But then when I went full time, I committed to my husband saying like, here's the amount of money that every month I'm going to pay myself.
Yeah.
And I've worked like crazy to make sure I always met that. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to be able to pay myself for the first time. I don't have anything to fall back on here. I'm just going to have to go and get a full-time job. And it was my husband who was like, these are the times that make or break you. You're either going to get up and dust yourself off and take a deep breath and move forward and figure out a way to make another $6,000 so that you can do another print run, or you're going to throw it all away and go back to your full-time job, what's it going to be? And I was like, well, of course, I'm just going to keep moving forward. I'm going to just figure it out. So the figure it out mentality, like you messed up, keep going, has served us well. Now, I will say I did learn from that experience. Never, especially as our numbers have gotten larger and larger, never make a risk that you can't survive. So when we have, put planners into production, and we're like tens of thousands of planners into production twice a year, we always look at the numbers and say, if the inventory catches on fire, or if all of this goes away for whatever reason, will this business still survive? And the answer has to be yes, or we don't do it. And that is why for many years we sold out right away, and we weren't able to refulfill, get more inventory really quickly because we kept it debt free. We kept the risk minimal, and it has served us so well to grow slowly that way.
So are you still running a debt free business?
We are. Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. It's crazy. And there were times where it was like, this is next to impossible, because it sounds like we're printing tens of thousands of planners. It sounds amazing that we're selling all of them, and hello, don't you just have tons of money that you're sitting on?
The cash flow is hard.
The cash flow is crazy because you always have money tied up in inventory or tied up in production runs that take 9 months to do. So, even to be able to pay yourself sometimes is miraculous, even when you're talking about lots and lots of sales. So the cash flow and getting on top of that has been our biggest challenge to date. But we're finally in a place, like by the skin of our teeth, we're finally in a place where we're like we're caught up.
Yeah.
We're up. Yeah.
So it sounds like to me, like if you're talking to a woman who is either wanting to start her own business or is in the thick of it, you know, she's at that point where you were like, I'm either going to just dust myself off or I'm going to go get a full-time job. What I'm hearing you say is that it was a slow process for you. It was not this overnight. I mean, I think a lot of times people look at someone in the stage of success that they're in right now and go, God, how did she do that? That was so quick. And you're like, oh no, this is like 10 years in the making. You know, you're not seeing me in my room up till midnight learning how to use whatever process it is. So it sounds like you're saying it's slow.
Oh, it's so slow. And I think, you know, looking back, had we had the success that we have now right out the gate, I would have missed so many face plants that just made me who I am. I mean, they gave me thicker skin. They taught me how to swim when it was a sink or swim situation. Yeah. There have been a lot of hard times, a lot of hard stuff. It's hard, first of all, putting yourself out there to be criticized, or to be
especially in the world that we live in now. Everything's public.
Absolutely. And that's hard. And then risking with money is very hard, especially when you have a family to feed. But you know what? I think we've always just had a very solid foundation of knowing who we are, what we're about, what our principles are, what standards we're going to hold ourselves to, and then what kind of risks we're willing to take. And by staying true to all of those things and not veering off the path, it's been okay.
I think that's something that I've learned too in creating the show that I'm doing is that I like what you said when you we had to figure out who we were, what we were going to do, what risks we were going to take, and then stay true to those. Because what happens, and you can tell me if this has happened to you, what happens is stuff comes along and it doesn't line up with that, but it looks really good. And so, you know, and then you have to think, okay, do I stay true to what I said or, you know, because I always say, make those commitments for me in the podcast world, make those commitments before you have, you know, 35,000 downloads, 85,000 downloads. Because when you're getting that many downloads, then you're like, oh, well, maybe I don't need those standards anymore. Well,
yeah, it's so true. You know, we got ourselves into a situation this year and last year and 2014, where the business grew very quickly, beginning in about 2014 was the year that things took off at a pace that we couldn't keep up with. And it was wonderful because all of a sudden, all these opportunities came our way. And it was like, how do you like decipher what's the right path and what, I mean, what a great problem to have, right?
Right. Yeah.
How do you decipher? And I remember someone asking me back in, gosh, it might've been 2010 or 2009. A friend of mine said, okay, in 5 years, what do you want to have? Do you want to have a company that is making $1 gazillion a year and providing a massive paycheck for you, and you're working like crazy, and you have a giant team, and you know own your own warehouse, and you own your own printer, and all of this? Or would you rather have like the flexibility to be room mom when Brady's in kindergarten, and a decent paycheck, and you know have a small team and work from home? And I remember not even blinking and saying, B, what? What do you mean? B, obviously. And over the last couple of years, it started to feel a little more like A, minus the giant paycheck. But it started to feel a little more like A, like things just got really big. And we got to say really cool things like we're sold in 800 stores around the world. And that, it was late this year when the book was about to release. And I remember just sitting there and thinking, how did we get here? Like, how did things get so big and so busy to the point to where I don't feel like I have room to breathe? And we have made some really hard decisions in the last couple of weeks. No one knows this yet. We haven't really said it publicly. We'll be making a larger announcement in January, but we are closing the majority of our wholesale program. And so we won't be able to say we're carried in 800 stores around the world anymore, even though it sounds great. Yeah. But what it's going to help us do is it's going to reconnect us back to that core of who are we? Like we're a small team of 7 women in very different seasons of life who want to connect with women all around the world and help them live life better. Yeah. And to do that, we have to connect direct to them on a retail level. And so we're going to kind of turn our focus inward. We're keeping our about 5 major retailers that we work with, but we are going to be able to focus a lot more on who we are. Like that decision we made a long time ago. And so I say that to say we've messed up many times. Not that was a mess up. It was just a direction that once it got so big, it came down to me choosing, a certain lifestyle, over profit, over money, and like being able to say all the cool things. And so don't worry, like if you mess up, if you end up in a place that looks a little different than what you had intended, you get to be in control. You get to decide if you're going to keep growing in a certain direction, or if you're not. And I think that could be said whether you're in business for yourself or you're, a woman just trying to live life, trying to do a lot of things. There's always the opportunity to change your mind.
I was just thinking that. I was like, this is so good for running a business or creating something. But I was also thinking, wow, this is good for like December. Like I've said yes to too many things. And now I feel kind of confined, but we had the final say. We get to say, actually, no, I can't do that. And we're not coming to that Christmas party and da, da, da. Oh, that's so good. People need to hear that they have control of their decisions. They
do. And, how often do we find ourselves saying, oh, I'm just so busy. I'm so busy. It's always like that. I'm just so busy. Everyone's busy. And we're all like, oh, okay, it's just the way life is. But it's not. It doesn't have to be. Like, we get to decide. And I think I just had that major realization in middle of the year this year where I thought, we get to decide what we say yes or no to. And it's not too late to make a change. We can make a change and we can go a different direction if we know it's right for us. And yes, maybe that means that we lose the accolades or we lose money. I mean, it's a very large part of our company, but we're keeping our team intact and we're focusing in a new direction. And I'm honestly, like, I'm so excited about it. It's a new direction.
That's really good. And you mentioned something when we were talking before about when you say, or something that you said you're trying to do, and it goes along with what you just did with your company. But I think a lot, as women, we can think about this as our lives as well. Is it learning how to say no to the wrong things so that you can say yes to the awesome things?
Absolutely.
And I think that you did that in your business, what you're just telling us, but we can do that in our life as well.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes the hardest part is saying no to things that are good. So if things come our way that are noble and wonderful and great opportunities and good for our families, it can become too much, even if it's good. There is so much thing as too much of a good thing. So in this season of life for myself, I'm just choosing more time to breathe and a little more white space in my life to feel creative. And so, I'm excited about it.
That's so good. And I think even like I'm, thinking about my kids, I have 4 kids and the oldest is almost 13. And so for Aaron and I, a lot of our decisions now we're looking at our family saying, okay, we have a 13-year-old, we only have these many more years until, I could cry, but until he's gone. Yeah. And then we just have every 2 years, we have more kids leaving. And so for us, we're looking at every decision. And you know what? We said yes. This is crazy. I always see like young moms. I'm like, I said yes to way more when I had little kids. I don't know if I felt like I needed to like get out or I needed a break or something.
Right.
But now that all my kids are in school, I say no to almost everything during the week that doesn't involve them.
Yeah. Right.
Because I just don't get to see them that, they're at school all day. And, or if you're like a working mom that works outside the home, then you also feel the same way. So it's crazy how we have to look at our lives and kind of pick what we need to do.
And I think this is such a good time of year to be having this conversation too, because it's the end of the year. Right. 2016 is drawing to a close. 2017 is upon us, and it's time to like take inventory a little bit and look at life and think about the ways that we want to live next year. So it's good to look at.
Do you look back on the year and kind of see, like personally and business?
I do. I try to take a week. Either in December or like that week between Christmas and New Year's was always a good time. My kids are out of school now, so that might be a little more difficult. But at a certain point, I love to sit down. I often do it with my husband, and we just talk about what worked last year, what didn't work, what kind of changes we can make. I'm not like a big, very specific goal setter when it comes to the new year. I don't really set resolutions, but I like to set kind of overarching goals about the focus we want to have. So if we want to be more unplugged this year, or if we want to focus on our health better, we'll kind of we'll talk about those things and set them, and then try to put some action steps into place to make them happen.
That's awesome. I've seen people, we'll start seeing all kinds of things on social media and Pinterest these days about end of the year goal setting and, New Year and stuff. But one of my favorites, obviously I've never done it because I can't handle these things like this, but is they'll do it with their kids as well. And they'll write down what their goals are for the next year. And then they kind of put them away and pull them out. You know what? The place I saw it was they put them in their stockings. When they were putting up Christmas gifts, putting up their Christmas stuff, they put their little list in their stockings. And so when the next year comes around and they get their stockings out and their Christmas decorations, they can see what did the year look like for me. And I always think,
wow.
I always think, I never do. I'm like, that's such a great idea. Maybe we should do that this year. Who knows?
That's a great idea.
I know.
I love that.
I know.
I love that. I think it's so fun to be able to look back and say, we did it, or we need to change direction, or it's good to have those gut check moments.
I agree.
A day of promise, a hope to end our road.
Okay, guys, before we get back to finishing my talk with Emily, I want to thank another one of our sponsor, and that is Lily Jade. Lily Jade is a bag company. I have a bag from them. I love it. It is a mom-created company, which just makes me happy. Basically, a mom, her name is Megan, she had this problem when she had her oldest daughter, and she found herself at loss at what kind of diaper bag to have. There were so many unstylish, impractical ones. They were pretty, but they were so expensive, and they just weren't functional. Or they were super affordable, but they just broke on her all the time, or they were ugly. So in her frustration, she created her own diaper bag, and she created Lily Jade. Lily Jade bags are made of 100% premium leather. You can literally smell it the minute you open the box. Many of their styles also convert to backpacks, which isn't that every mom's dream because you have your hands free and you still have a bag. Every Lily Jade bag comes with their removable, washable, multi-pocket insert. Means if you've ever had a bottle spill in your bag, you know why this is important, that you can wash it. Also, you put all that insert stuff in there, you can literally take it out and hand it to the babysitter, the grandma, the daycare. Or if you're like me and you have zero need for a diaper bag, I use it for a computer bag. So Lily Jade, you can check them out on the website, lily-jade.com. Speaking of December, it's the first week of December. Here we are. You guys have any family traditions that you do for Christmas?
We do. We have a couple actually, and they've changed. Yeah, they've changed over the years as we've added to the family, and as we became parents. Obviously, those changed a lot, but. We live about 8 hours away from my family. They live in Pensacola and we live in Tampa. And so every year now they come down and visit us, and they come for about a week around Christmas time. And one of my favorite traditions is we go out to a fancy dinner just once, right before Christmas. And it's a really fun time where we just really enjoy each other. And we used to go to the Grand Marlin in Pensacola, which was one of our favorite restaurants. But this year we're taking everybody out to dinner in Tampa. And then on Christmas Eve, we have a snack dinner. So everybody brings something, and we have just lots of little appetizers. We've really, the last couple of years, we've done Chick-fil-A nuggets, the big trays.
Yes.
They're so easy. And we always read the night before Christmas, right before bedtime on Christmas Eve. And my dad has the funniest sense of humor. And so we all go around and we read a page, and inevitably my dad changes all the words to make it really funny.
Hilarious.
So that's a lot of fun. He's done it since I was a kid. And on Christmas morning, we get up at the crack of dawn or before.
Because you have little kids.
Exactly. And we open presents, and then we have a scavenger hunt for your big present. So everybody gets one. Yeah, we have the little presents under the tree, and then everyone has a big present. Well, the kids do. And we have a scavenger hunt. So you get your first clue at the Christmas tree, and then you have to go find the next clues. And I remember doing it with my brother when I was an itty bitty kid, and Brady's just at the age now where he can do it. And it's a lot of fun.
So you did that when you were growing up?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And then on New Year's, my favorite tradition is that on New Year's Eve, Ryan and I, of course, used to, pre-children, we would go out and we would get all dressed up, and it was so fun. And now we're we're not driving, we're not going anywhere, we'll be on the road. So we stay here, we have friends over, And we have an ice cream sundae bar. And so we set up a little ice cream sundae bar, and Brady loves it, makes sundaes.
I'm sure.
And then as we watch the ball drop on TV, we take construction paper and we cut confetti like the whole time that we're watching it. And then when the ball drops, we throw the confetti, and Brady thinks that it is the best thing ever.
Oh,
it is so much fun.
Oh, that is the best.
It's really fun. It's really fun. So yeah, we do that on New Year's.
I love your traditions. You have so many.
Oh, thanks. You know, my favorite part is that over the last couple years, they've become even more low key, like less pressure, really low key, very flexible, and really easy to execute.
Yeah.
And so it's just fun. Like the holidays can be so stressful with so much going on, and it's so nice after all the gifts are wrapped and everybody's done to kind of do a few fun things as a family.
It's great. I love that you mentioned that they're just getting simpler and simpler, because that is your book that just came out in October. It is Grace Not Perfection, Embracing Simplicity and Celebrating Joy. Where did the need for writing that come from?
Well, when my son was born in 2011, I found myself completely overwhelmed, like absolutely hitting a wall in terms of trying to manage life as a mom and a business owner who was still trying to get things off the ground. And I remember just pacing circles around my house, and I had Brady on one hip and a laptop on the other. And I was like in tears because Brady was hungry. I had a branding client who needed my attention. And I remember thinking, every single woman I know is doing life really well. She has.
It's the lie that we all hear.
It's the lie. Like, but I had eaten it. Like I swallowed it. I believed it. Every woman had perfect hair. She weighed her college weight. Like she was cooking homemade dinners every night on the table at 6 o'clock. And I like couldn't even brush my teeth in the morning.
Right.
It was just, I was so stressed to the max. And I remember just thinking, like, is this life? Is this it? Because this is terrible. And I had such a deep love for this new baby that we had wanted for so long. And I had such a deep love for my business. And I, at the same time of thinking all these things, like, why can't I do both? Why can't I have the life that I want? Why do I just feel so spread so thin? And I remember talking to a friend on the phone, my friend Laura Casey, and I said, I am so done. Like, I'm so done doing this. I'm done trying to live such a perfect life and trying to maintain this image to portray to everyone like I have it all together, because I don't.
Right.
And I said, I am going to hold myself to a standard of grace. That's all that matters. It's just living life gracefully and loving my people and being joyful and happy. And this perfection thing is terrible. And we coined that grace, not perfection phrase. And it meant so much to me, like in my heart of hearts, that I wanted to just kind of shout it from the mountaintops. And so we made like mugs with it and t-shirts, and we just started putting it out there, and it spread like wildfire. And it became the backbone of our company. It's a little hidden message in the back cover of our simplified planners that I don't even know if anyone knows is there. And in 2000, well, I guess it was last year actually, we had worked really hard early last year to really focus our company's mission and put it out there that, like, we're not just a planner company. We're never going to be just a planner company. We always want to be a company that inspires and equips women. And I got an email from HarperCollins Christian Publishing, and this amazing woman who's become a dear friend said to me, the mission that you're putting out there, the message you're spreading about grace, not perfection, is beautiful in like a soulful, really soulful way. And we would love to help you bring that to life in a book. And I was sitting in the preschool parking lot, and I started sobbing, and I called my mom, and I was like, you're never going to believe this. And I had to like clean up my tears really fast before I went in to get Brady. But I dove in with both feet. Like, I could not have been more excited to put my love for writing to work, and also to just bring this message to life in a new format. And one of my favorite parts about the whole process was that they so understood what I was trying to say. I ended up with an editor who really helped me with the book, open it up to women in all seasons of life, and not just women who are where I am. My favorite messages I get are from college girls who are reading it that are like, this just resonates with me so much. Or moms who are grandmothers now, whose kids have left the nest, even women who have no kids. I mean, it's just so cool to see how it resonates with so many different women. And then we made the book into something that wasn't just theory and story. It's called a gift book. Like that's the category. It's in.
Yeah.
Because inside it has lots of photos and it's like a workbook almost. It has
beautiful.
places where you can, thank you, like answer questions and checklists and all kinds of stuff that just really gets you to interact with the message throughout it. And yeah, I couldn't be more proud of it.
Well, I think just listening to the description and hearing my friend Kim talk about it, I'm like, I can't wait to get my hands on it either. And it sounds just like something that will resonate with women. And I was listening when you were talking, it reminded me, I was listening to a podcast the other day with Rob Lowe, which is kind of crazy that this is what stuck with me. But he said the advice that he gave his son when he went to college was don't compare your insides to other people's outsides.
Oh my goodness. That's
Isn't that good? Yes. And so his point was just what you just said, is that as women, we look around and we think everyone has it together. I'm falling apart on the inside and everyone else is together, when really we don't see what's on their inside, and we're all falling apart. I mean, like everyone's broken, everyone's needy, everyone's all of these things. But everyone's just trying to be put together on the outside. And I love that you came to that realization that I'm going to show myself grace, not perfection. Because even like as a business owner, especially graphic designer, you guys are perfectionists, like, that's like, that's your livelihood, is perfection.
Yeah.
And so just being able to give yourself the grace and say, you know what, I'm not going to live up to what I think everyone else is doing.
Yeah. There's so much freedom in that. Like,
oh yes.
Like so much freedom from my soul when I told myself, I'm over it. I'm just going to be me. Like, I remember even, I've been very inspired by my friend Laura Casey lately because she has this fiery red hair that she always straightened and then curled perfectly. And lately it's actually spirally curly. And she has, started wearing her hair naturally, and it's beautiful. And she's like,
very beautiful.
This is who I am. Why have I been fighting my hair for so many years? And I'm like, this is how I feel on the inside. Like, why have I been fighting who I actually am to try to fit into this mold of the perfect mom, the perfect wife, the perfect designer? Like I'm so tired. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not fun anymore. So there's so much fun to be had when you just allow yourself to kind of step into who you are and wear your imperfections like they're just a good old sweater,
and they're actually not even imperfections.
Right.
Exactly. I think when
quirk.
Yes. I saw her getting the guy come to do her hair and all that kind of stuff. And her hair is just beautiful. And I haven't, and so I didn't even know that she was doing anything different because I haven't known her for that long. But I thought to myself when she was doing it, I was like, isn't it crazy that her embracing her hair is going to give women other freedom to embrace things?
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing.
Things that are even deeper than hair.
Exactly.
And I think
exactly.
I love her to death. I think that her outer transformation is definitely representative of an inner transformation she's gone through as well. And I don't know if it's like our age that I'm 33. Am I 33? Yeah, I'm 33. I think that it's like a coming of age thing, or if it's, being in a certain place in life, or if it's just this tidal wave change that we're seeing in society where more women are starting to feel this way and live this way because we're tired of the Pinterest perfect image.
I think you're right about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that we are still struggling as much, but we're talking about it a lot more.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does.
Yeah. Like for me right now, a struggle for me is I should stop reading books while I'm writing because I read stuff and I just think, I don't know why I'm writing a book. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life because this person that I'm reading is amazing. Yeah. I need to throw in the towel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is dumb. But that's totally a lie that I'm believing. That's not true, so.
It absolutely, it's totally a lie. And I think what's beautiful about it is that we all have our own unique things we bring to the table based on our experiences, based on who we are, based on what we love, our traditions, our families. And that is so beautiful when we just put it all out there,
Yep. It opens up the doors for other people to go, wow, me too. I'm okay with this now. It's freedom. There's freedom.
When I moved to Tampa, I remember thinking, I'm never going to have best friends again. I'm never going to have friends that are like me, that understand me, that love me and support me in the ways my old best friends back in Pensacola did. And I didn't for the first maybe 2 years. I remember, being introduced to Brian's friends' wives or girlfriends at the time and feeling like I'm never going to connect with these people. And it wasn't until I started embracing who I really was and being imperfect in front of people, just being myself, that I made lifelong friendships, like friendships that blessed me in ways that I could have never imagined. I could have never hoped for. Laura's a great example of that. Laura and I are best friends, and I never thought I'd have a friend like her. Back when I was trying to live up to something else.
Because it's exhausting is what it is, because we can't keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, well, I could talk about that for days, but we only have so much time. But I do want to ask you what you're reading these days. Are you a reader?
I am. I've actually become an audiobook person the past couple of weeks. Yeah. I listen to a lot of Audible books, especially when I have to do road trips with 3 kids. So I've been listening to a lot of fiction books lately. I've kind of gotten into that a little bit. And I'm in the middle of, it's taking me a long time to get through it because I have to put stuff into practice as I read. But The Life-Giving Home by Sarah and Sally Clarkson is so good. It is so good. I've been reading that. Oh goodness. I read Present Over Perfect from Shauna Niequist. Beautiful, beautiful book. For the Love from Jen Hatmaker. I've been reading Wild and Free from those amazing
girls.
Yeah, lots of different books. But lately I've kind of gotten into some fiction stuff, and it's been a nice just departure. It gives my brain a little bit of a break, especially I'm with you. I cannot read while I'm writing. So preparing for the next edition, the next book.
I think I need to switch over to fiction and quit reading nonfiction while I'm writing. I think that would help me out a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't. Jen Hatmaker's book, For the Love, came out while I was writing Grace Not Perfection. And I remember thinking, like, I love her and I totally wanted to read it. But I was like, this will be your treat at the end when you're done.
That's
you
good.
can read it
That's so good. Are you writing the same way this time? 3 hours at Starbucks every night?
I signed the contract yesterday. So I am I need to go and sit and read the outline that I wrote. And actually get my brain together. But more than likely I will do it that way again. It worked the first time. It was a nice, quiet getaway. My kids weren't impacted. It was good. So
that's
probably.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
What are 3 things you're loving right now?
Oh goodness. 3 things that I'm loving right now. Brian and I have been watching The Prophet on TV.
Oh, I don't know this.
Oh, it's so good. It's Marcus Lemonis is his name. And his TV show is called The Prophet. I can't remember what station it comes on. But he goes and he buys equity into businesses. And it's kind of like Shark Tank in that he goes in and he buys part of a company, but he gets 100% control. So he helps these small businesses get out of tough times. And we take notes. We learn all kinds of things from watching it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's lots of fun. We've been doing that. What else am I loving? I am loving Scarlet and Gold. Do you know them?
Yes, I follow them on Instagram.
Yes, Megan, the owner, is a dear friend of mine, and I love their I love their T-shirts. They're so soft. They have great messages, and we're actually doing a partnership with them that's going to be coming out really soon. Their Strong Woman collection. We're doing a T-shirt with them that says imperfect. And it's so cute.
I've never bought anything from them, but I follow them.
Yeah. Their shirts are so great and they're such great quality. Another great T-shirt company is Walk in Love. I love their T-shirts.
I've heard of them.
T-shirts.
Yes.
Okay. One last thing. What else am I loving? Oh my goodness. I am loving, naps. I'm loving naps.
Are you a napper?
On Sundays. Not really.
Okay.
It's hard for me to nap.
Yeah.
But lately on Sundays, when my twins will get on for a nap, I'll get Brady and he calls it the big bed. I'll get him in the big bed and we'll snuggle up and take a little nap. And it's just so nice to give yourself the freedom to take a nap.
Right.
The dishes can wait. Everything can wait. Sundays in the afternoons, it's so nice to just go and take a little nap.
It is a great nap. I am not a big napper either, but I am the queen of my kids get off the bus around 3:15. Yeah. So I'll work, and I'll be like, oh, it's 3:00. And then I'll lay down for 12 minutes.
It's the best.
It's the best thing ever. That's the best kind of nap right there.
And what a beautiful way to give yourself some grace, allowing yourself some time to rest. I mean, why don't we do that more?
I think I saw an article one time that naps are actually really healthy for you. And
Yeah.
one of the, okay, if I butcher this, I'm so sorry, but I really think I read this, that one of the presidents, and I don't know who it was, obviously, I'm not a very good keeping my facts straight, but he would nap every day, and he would put his
No
hands
way.
on his chest, and then as his hand would fall to the floor, that's when he knew that it was like, that was his nap.
Wow.
I know.
That's amazing.
Right? So it was just like this
I mean, if
little,
the president can do it.
yeah, exactly. But that's how
Yeah.
important it was. And I've heard that it's actually good for our bodies to get a little nap in every day.
I can imagine, because you give yourself a little quiet time to turn your brain off a little.
Yeah. Which for some of us, I mean, like I have a hard time turning my brain off. So
Oh my gosh, me too. That's
Yeah.
why books are so good for me, because it just gives me a chance to like escape from it all and turn it
Yeah.
off. Otherwise, I love to work so much, my brain will just keep going and going and coming up with ideas.
oh, I know. I'm sure that my assistant Amanda, who's like a dear friend, but I just like I keep having to remind myself that I can't just text her whenever I want during the day to like come
Right.
up with these ideas that I think we should do, because she
Right.
is actually a mom, and this is not her, whatever. I just need to quit texting her at 11 o'clock at night to tell her what I think
We
we
do
should
the
be doing.
same things. We do the same things on my team. It's funny.
Yeah,
We have a big
yeah.
group text.
Yes. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed. I'll email this because this is an email thing, not a text. But anyhow.
Great.
Oh. Well, Emily, it has been a joy to have you on the happy hour.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. It's been so much fun talking to you.
So much fun. I loved hearing about you taking your business slow and embracing imperfection and grace. And it was just the best. So thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Yay.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And good luck writing that second book.
Thank you. Good luck to you. And you're in the home stretch. Good luck.
Okay, we'll see. Thank you. Okay, friends, wasn't that a fun conversation with Emily? I honestly did not know that much about her besides her online business, the book that she just wrote, and her planners. And I loved our conversation. I feel as though I could have chatted with her for hours at a cute little boutique type restaurant where we were having brunch and drinking coffee for like 3 hours. And we look up and we realize we've been sitting there for 3 hours. I hope you loved her as well. She was so kind and down to earth. So smart at her business practices. You can really tell where the heart of her business is when she said we're actually pulling out of 800 retail stores to get back to the customer. And I just thought, man, she is the real deal. So I love chatting with her. Today's show was edited by Logan Garza, and the music, it sounds different than you're used to hearing. You're used to hearing from my friend Jason Poe, whose song is on here. But every December, I like to bring in a little Christmas music. And so today's music is from a worship album from the Austin Stone worship team called A Day of Glory, which you can get it on iTunes. I'm a super big fan of them. Next week, my guest is Ginger Ravella. And guys, make sure that you listen to this one. I only cried twice when we were talking, and I literally had to keep myself from the ugly cry as I listened to her share her story because I was trying to be professional. She's been through a lot. She's come out on the other side, and she has so much to say about God never leaving us, never abandoning us, and never not loving us, even when we feel as though our life is over. And the worst thing possible that you can imagine has happened to you. She was a phenomenal guest. I loved her so much. And then the week after Ginger is my new friend, Kenesha Bikes. And I also adored chatting with her about motherhood and decorating and finding our place. So 2 great shows coming up for you to listen to. Guys, enjoy your week. Have a happy hour with a friend. And post on Instagram when you share the show, and you could win some goodies from the happy hour. I'll see you guys next week.